Hi everybody and welcome to Straight Talk with Bren, O'Brien and Tim Rowe from The Straight, a review of day 3 of Magic Millions in 2026. This podcast, of course, brought to you by our fabulous sponsors, Inglis and Darley. Tim, look, it's rinse and repeat. The days appear to sort of, you're all pretty strong. The numbers are pretty solid. We've had some really good results today, but I guess nothing in the spectacular range. But the stats really stack up. If you have a look at it, the average is currently sitting at $280,000. The aggregate, $146 million. The clearance at a really impressive 85.4%. Yeah, all the figures point towards the fact it's been a very good sale to date for Magic Millions. And, the market seems pretty well connected.
So far, you've got to say, and the decision to sort of slightly reduce Book 1 seemed to have paid off. They'd sold one less horse than last year, but aggregate at this stage is up on last year, which is important. When you get paid by commission, and talking to a couple of vets and Trent Jorgensen, he was just saying before that, the horses are vetting very well, which, the clearance rate is sort of a testament to that a lot of people are prepared to bid on the horses and buy them because they vet well, and that, like it or not, that is a big factor in people's willingness to bid and how high they're prepared to go, and their risk factor.
Yeah, I just think that you're right. There's just starting to be confidence in the market for people to buy here, and and I said the jump in clearance rate is probably significant as well. We'll get on to the conversation we have with Barry Boundage in a minute, but it's clear that was an aim this year, having had probably a low or a bit of a fall in the clearance rate last year was the lowest in 14 years. It's really picked up this year, and there's a little bit with a sense of getting business done. And look, it's a positive. Of course, it's not easy to buy good horses as normal, but I think we saw $3 million lots to his today, Tim, from memory. I think the most expensive being the Stitzel out of Madame Andre. Yeah,
yes,
we sold for $1.6 million to Hemby's Thoroughbreds. James Harron was busy with a couple of $1 million lots. Yeah, I mean that all the names are there. There's a good, diversity of buyers, and it just appears that everybody's sort of got still plenty of money to spend, but nobody's overspending or getting too carried away. But they all feel like they can compete in the market.
Well, with Hermitage, it's an interesting one that all the auction houses, if someone buys at one sale, the rest of the other auction houses are rightly onto them, encourage them to come. And Hermitage, Hong Kong entity, an owner, they've traditionally sort of bought at Inglis and Easter and Ready to Run sale, but Easter, that's where they got to the Autumn Sun from. But Shannon Clark, who manages Hermitage, suggested that they bought Home Affairs last year out of Magic Millions, and obviously came and bought a really nice filly today. So they're, I'm sure they'll be strong at Easter, but it's just widening their net of looking for horses as they sort of grow their business and horse portfolio that's sort of topped 100 now. So it's certainly significant.
Yeah, and I was certainly a fairly happy Barry Boundage that walked in here into the media centre probably about half an hour ago and had a chat to us, and here's what Barry had to say about how the day proceeded.
Barry seemed like another very strong day of trade all across.
Absolutely. I thought it was consistently strong. It was consistently genuine, consistently strong. I thought across the board at all levels. I thought it was, I saw the auctioneers at the end of the day, we had a quick debrief, and they were of the opinion that they felt as if it was really, really genuine. It felt as if, even in that sort of 80 through 150 bracket, there was plenty of bids coming, and it was a good market to be auctioneering in, which is fantastic. To have the numbers we do, I think the average is holding at 281. It's been very consistent over the week. Median, which just hasn't moved at 200, and a clearance rate that continues to thrive, which is above 85% now. These are numbers that are very much in line with our expectations.
And comparing to last year, past fewer lots and aggregates up must be pleasing.
Absolutely. I think the fact of the matter is that we had a few more lots offered by now. I think with the sort of 30 lots less catalogued at this point in time, the gross is up some 1.7 million at this point on last year. So we're tracking along nicely, and we've got a fairly similar day to last year tomorrow. So all in all, you'd see the fact that we'll be, in line with last year from a gross perspective at the end of the sale, and our statistics, from a clearance rate and an average, should be slightly better.
It's not unfamiliar, but James Harron's really had a crack so far this week and is a leading buyer, and with his colts, and he's bought 3 nice fillies as well.
Yeah, I guess he's finding the Magic Millions sale a happy hunting ground. Obviously, going back to when he first begun, it was capitalist, and under King's Legacy, and he's got 2 in the race. Saturday, he's got one of the favourites for the Slippery and Incognito, so he's got a lot of confidence in the Magic Millions sale, and he's got a lot of confidence in the breeders that sell here, and he's a great supporter of the auction here, and look, he continues to come back and do it in strong fashion this year with Tony Fooke and his team.
But the long session tomorrow, can the momentum be maintained, do you think?
I think the Howden Super Session, I think it'll be buzzy out here. I think there'll be a lot of people in town for the races. I think there's plenty to look forward to. There's owners coming. There's more people in town, given the fact that they've got the big race day to look forward to. Obviously, $13 million in prize money on Saturday. So all in all, I see tomorrow being very, very busy. I think every day's been incredibly busy, but I think it just continues to build on itself day by day with people entering the complex or being on the Gold Coast. Looking forward to Saturday. Obviously, the weather's fantastic at this point in time, and it's just a really good vibe. It's pulsy. It's everything we'd hoped for at this point in the sale. From the fact that it's running smoothly and it feels really good.
The following segment is brought to you by Darley. When the spring carnival wrapped up, the picture was clear. Darley stallions topped the table with 42 stakes wins, well ahead of imported horses and those bred in New Zealand. Almost 30 victories were delivered by client-bred runners, showing strength from early 2-year-olds to elite Group 1 races. Consistency, depth and performance when it mattered most. By Darley at Magic Millions. Yeah, so obviously just we spoke about it. It's I guess a sense of a sustainable, strong market. Things are fairly positive. There's been some good winners as well. Some people have had some very good results. A good friend of the podcast, Daniel Arnum, who we've had on the podcast before, Timmy, caught up with him. We'll hear that interview in a minute. But an example of people who have put in Daniel and his dad. His dad got lift home with us in the Uber the other day for the Newgate function. It was Steve, he's a lovely guy to sort of have a chat to about different things. And it's good to see people like that doing well out of the out of the sale, because they do invest in a lot of brood mares and get a good return.
Well, I guess these results are showing that if you can get horses to be bred that are deemed to be at the top end of the market, can do very well. It's certainly not easy to do. And I've just seen with the Coolmores and Yulongs buying a lot of those high-end mares and pushing up their values, it is difficult, but the Allums, a little family-run entity with Bruce Slade helping them out, were able to achieve a $1 million yearling sale, which the money helps, but also just the achievement is very satisfying for them as well.
Yeah, and here's what Daniel Arnum had to say to Tim earlier on the day.
Got Daniel Arnum with me. Congratulations, Dan. You've just sold an I'm Invincible filly out of Lincoln Star for $1 million. I know you told us, I think, on the podcast last year that you were upgrading your mares and really trying to play at the top end of the market, and here's the result.
Yeah, no, she was from the moment she was born, Brian and Peter at Sedgeno said she was special, and all credit goes to them for the care that they gave her and the way that they looked after her and brought her to the sale. She was Peter's highest rating from a foal, and that didn't change till when we got her up here. She had perfect x-rays or great x-rays and a grade 1 throat, and it was just good to get her in the sale. And look, based on the inspections that she had and the high interest that was marked down, we were confident that she'd sell well, but you still have to do it. And she's gone to such a great stable. We have a few horses with Gay and Adrian and Michael Friedman we had horses with as well. And it's so good to breed a filly like that. It's what you do it for. And we come here every sale every year and see people sell their fillies and colts for a lot of money. And it's just good when the luck turns your way and you get to sell one for that price. And we're excited to follow it through.
But it is not, you have fortunately sold a $1 million yearling in the past, but it's not easy to do.
No, exactly right. And look, he was an absolute blue bud. He was a half to exceedance out of the damn Bonnie Mac, and that was a bit bittersweet because we lost some air prior to that sale, and that was a tough pill to swallow. But we've been toiling away for a while. Bruce has been so good to us, and we bought a fair bit of stallion equity. And one of the stallions I think we've bred to every year since we started is I'm Invincible. And the way that Yarraman treat us and the way that they look after us and the affinity we've had with them, it's been fantastic. And to do it for Vinny with all these years of sending mares to him, it makes it even more special. And it goes to show why you send these beautiful mares to these top stallions, because you get a result like that.
Have you had many others go through this week?
Yeah, I have, mate. I sold a Frankel Global brand colt who went to who went to, I just have to have a think about it, Tim, sorry for a second. Annabelle Neesham, I believe it was. And I sold a catwalk filly as well to Tony McAvoy. And I've got a Lucicello going through shortly, a Wooden Basset Lucicello colt that we really like, and a Sassy and Smart Home Affairs, which is a half to the 300. I think that was a horse I mentioned on the podcast as well. And Monty Supreme, that's with Bjorn Baker. But it's, we've got 7 to sell up here. I think we've got a couple more to go, but it's been a great sale and exciting time.
The following segment is brought to you by Inglis. The English Premier Yearling Sale catalogue is now available online. From March 1st to 3rd, Oaklands Junction in Melbourne will once again serve as the focal point of the bloodstock world, with 806 yearlings catalogued across 3 days of selling. This year's cataloguing features progeny from 110 individual stallions. The Premier Sale has consistently produced racetrack success. Graduates include the past 3 winners of the Everest offered at public auction, Ballina Patina, Think About It, and Nature Strip, as well as 34 Group 1 winners since 2018, with 16 purchased for $100,000 or less. English Premier Yearling Sale runs March 1 to 3 at Oaklands Junction in Melbourne. To view the catalogue, visit english.com.au. Yeah, so we look forward to the final day now, Tim, and it's the Super Session. It's a really long day of selling, but plenty of highlight lots. There's a lot of anticipation about the filly by Invincible out of Kafila early on in the day. Lot 708, as my eyes continue to serve me well enough. There's plenty of this, like Snittle. There's a Snittle holdout, She's Ideal, who will be well anticipated. A Snittle holdout, Evangelic, that's expected to do quite well. An I'm Invincible filly out of Scorched Earth, and an Animo colt. Well, we've spoken about Animo all week, but he's had a really amazing sale. There was another big buy today. Michael Friedman and the Mile Racehorse team sort of came together to buy, I think, from memory, I think it was about $850,000 for an Animo, and Emma Friedman was very much at the forefront of that as well. So, the Animos have been very popular as well. Look, it looks like it's going to be another strong day, and we'd expect where we are now in terms of all those key indicators, including average and clearance rate and stuff, will probably persist throughout a monster final session.
It's hard not to talk about Animo when we've got the Dutton Godolphin marketing team just stationed right next to us. So
with all their hats.
Yeah. Exactly. And so but we're a big fan of Animo, and the market is too.
Yeah, and it's I think it's interesting to see how these new sires are received, and we'll continue to do that. And what we will do is we'll do a full review of the sale on Saturday morning. We record it, Tim, and get it out then, and people can have a listen then properly as they're going to races or whatever else they're doing on their Saturday. Have a listen through the review of the sale. Thanks for listening to Straight Talk, brought to you, of course, by our sponsors, Inglis and Darley. We'll talk to you again on Saturday.